Hello everyone, and welcome to this new crash test. Today, I'm going to test for you a do-it-yourself kit that's supposed to let us draw in 3 dimensions in water. It's popular now and mainly for children, but anyone can use it. I want to find out with you how it works, if it's effective, and if it's as magical as they say. And I suggest we get started right away. So as usual, we'll begin with the unboxing. This box cost me a little less than 25 euros, which I think is very reasonable. Honestly, it's pretty cute. The illustrations are well done, and on the back, we have all the steps to follow. Honestly, it looks pretty simple, so I suggest we take this off. Well, I'm sorry, but I kind of have to tear the whole thing because there's no other way to take it off. There we go. Ah, it's even stuck underneath. Oh, but no, I'm so silly. There was tape, that's why. Listen, we'll just cut it. I'll try not to lose a finger during this video, that would be good. And here we are with the box. So here we have 2 bags with white powder inside. I guess this is the secret ingredient that will let us draw in the water, and a kind of net that will let us pick up our shapes. Different molds with animal or fruit shapes. And they did something pretty clever, because as you can see, it's double-sided. A brush and the instructions, which are in English. And finally, various tubes of colored liquid let us draw shapes, replacing crayons or paint tubes. So, for the first step, you'll need to fill a container like this with hot water. They recommend putting in between 700 milliliters and 1 liter. Well, let's get started. Alright, I guess we need hot water because right after, we're going to add the famous white powder. And obviously that's to make it dissolve. Inside, it's better if there's heat and steam. There you go. Perfect. So we have the right amount. Now, I need to pour one of the 2 packets inside. You get the idea. Basically, that means we can only use this kit twice, and after that, if we want to draw again, we'll have to use refills. I think they could have put a few more packets inside, so here we go. It almost looks like laundry detergent. It smells clean and weird, so here we go. I'm mixing to make sure everything dissolves completely. It looks simple, as you can see. Just a bit more, and we're good. The water is now cloudy, and I feel like it's gotten a bit thicker. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I feel like we're heading in the right direction now. We'll need to choose a mold, so in this case, I think I'll go with the crab, and we'll need to dip it into our solution. Now we wait a few seconds. Apparently we can take it out. And now, according to the instructions, we need to remove all the liquid and possibly any air bubbles that are on it. It's a bit odd since we were just told to dip it in the liquid, but now we have to remove it completely. I don't get the point, but let's just follow the steps. It's magic, so no need to understand. Let's go. I'm using the brush to remove the bubbles as it says none should remain. Otherwise, the drawing simply might not work. And we'll see later if we can make drawings without the molds. I'm especially interested for adults seeking something more original. I don't know about you, but it seems fine to me. Now, I can set this aside for a moment and we can start our drawing. So, for that, we need to take our gel in a tube. So in this case, I'm going to take the red one. Wait, but you still have to remove the seal, right? Because look, it's blocked inside. I'll try with the tip of a knife. There we go. I got it. Perfect. That wasn't in the instructions, but it's easy to figure out. Now I'll close everything up and start drawing, beginning with the legs. You really have to press hard. The good news is you can easily control your drawing. It stays within the lines and doesn't spill. I'll do the second leg now. It's definitely a gel. Okay, that's 2 and 3. I'll repeat this on the other side. That's good news. We'll be able to make multicolored drawings easily. And now, we're going to fill in the body. Come on, let's be a bit more generous this time. Well, it does go down pretty quickly in the tube. As you can see, I've already used up almost 20%. So, once again, that's not ideal. Now I'll tackle the claws, same as the left. And here, this is going to be the tricky part, because I probably need to fill in the eyes in black first. So here, I'm really going to be very careful. I don't want to mess up. Maybe just a little bit more liquid. The advantage is that you can be extremely precise. There, that looks pretty good to me. And now I can add a bit of red. I don't put it directly on the area, so it mixes just a little bit. There are some air bubbles. I'm not sure I can remove them, but it's important they disappear or there will be problems. Okay, it looks fine to me, and as you can see, it didn't mix much, so I think I did it. And now we come to the step that's a bit tricky because we'll have to remove the drawing from the mold. So, for that, you need to dip it in water. Wait about 10 seconds. Oh wow, it's stinging my fingers. What is this? I might have an open wound because it stings. We're going to have to shake it a little to make sure the drawing comes off. Look, the little legs of the crab mold are starting to come out. It seems to be working. Okay, my little crab came to life. I'm going to rinse my hands now. They're a bit red. If you have a small cut, it's not ideal. It's already better. In my opinion, it's better to be careful. I wouldn't put my hand in there for hours. But hey, it has still been tested. It's allowed in Europe, so I doubt it's acid. It's just stingy. At least you've been warned. My crab is just living its life, and you need to let it rest in the solution for at least 10 minutes, so that's what we'll do. In the meantime, I suggest we try to make a freeform shape. So for that, I need to find a piece of plastic to use as a base. I'll be right back. I'm back! I found a lid that should do the trick. We're going to follow exactly the same steps. We'll dip it in the solution first. So let's go, and we'll try not to crush the crab. But when I take it out, whoa, it's shaking. There, that looks fine to me. Alright, I'll remove this to make some space, and then we can start drawing. This time, I'm going to try making a snowflake, which is more complex and likely more fragile. I want to test the strength of the creations, so I'm going to use blue. It seems like the right color. Well, I hope you won't mind if I don't make something incredibly beautiful. If you want someone talented who makes beautiful illustrations, you should check out the Draw Tutorial channel. By the way, shout out to him because I love what he does. So let's get started. I'll start with the circle in the center. We're going to make a bubble. Now I need to draw my branches nice and straight, so that's 1 and that's 2. Well, it doesn't look very thick to me. That's what worries me a bit. We're going to do the same thing in the other direction. So for now, it doesn't look like anything. But trust me, I have something in mind. And there are air bubbles coming out too. It's not very practical. Look at this. And now I need to make little crosses. On the branches, well, we have a snowflake, but one that has melted a little. The problem is that the liquid tends to spread out. The shapes aren't as clear as I'd hoped, which is disappointing. Let's test if it still works by putting everything in the water. We're not far from the famous maple leaf on the Canadian flag. Let's say that was the goal. As you see, nothing's happening yet, and it doesn't feel like it's coming off. Let's try some small movements. Okay, that's good. The drawing is changing, so I'll let it rest and use the molds to make other shapes. See you after. As you can see, night is falling and the pieces have stayed in the solution for quite a while. Knowing that the instructions said that even leaving them for a few hours was very good because it made them stronger. Anyway, I suggest we see how it turned out. Especially with the crab I made, the snowflake and other shapes created in the meantime. Okay, let's get started. I'll take my small strainer and begin with the crab. As you can see, it worked and is tougher than I expected. It looks solid. It slipped from my hands. Everything's wet. Honestly, the result isn't bad. It's cute and looks like a little character made of plastic or gelatin, but it's not edible. It doesn't seem fragile and holds up well. It works great. You can press on it. Then I made the snowflake. Not sure why I'm using the little strainer instead of my fingers. Here's how it looks. Let's be honest, this wasn't a success, so let's just pretend it never existed. Goodbye. At least it flies well, and the other shapes turned out better. Well, I made a little apple, but unfortunately, one of the pieces fell off the stem, one of the leaves, but it's not a big deal. The rest, however, seems to be perfectly intact. Look, there you go. And I tried to make a sort of gradient with the color. Honestly, well, it didn't really blend, but it's doable. It's just that, well, it doesn't seem made for that. Oh, it looks like it's dripping. Okay, so. Actually, it's a kind of membrane. The center is still liquid, so you need to leave it in the water longer to fully set. It's interesting. Look, it's dripping, which is actually pretty satisfying. Well, I felt like I popped a pimple, but it's okay. And here we have a kind of dragonfly that's also pretty and well done. It has a small part here. We're not sure what it is. Maybe we can remove it so it looks nicer, right? Honestly, it's really not bad. And honestly, it's super nice to touch. I really like it. Honestly, it's a great discovery and it doesn't seem that fragile. Well, for me, that's a crash test approved. So indeed, it's not going to be suitable for adults who want to make somewhat complex drawings, simply because if you don't have a mold with edges, it goes all over the place. But for kids, it's a really good activity. There's something really satisfying about it, both in the creation process and in the final result. It really reminds me of the keychains I had when I was younger, which were encased in a sort of clear domed silicone. Honestly, it's really nice to handle, and I think it's great, but after all, it's not perfect either, as I showed you at the beginning. We only have 2 packets to make the preparation, so we'll have to buy refills if we want to do it again, and if the kids want to try the experience again. And also, the creations aren't really made to last, in the sense that you still have to keep them in cold water to preserve them. Unfortunately, you can't make figurines that will last forever. Anyway, that's all for today.